Hi, it's Mayor Walter Sendzik, and we're back for season 5 of our home of Mayor Sendzik. That's 5 seasons. We're catching up to Walking Dead, Breaking Bad, Game of Thrones. How many was that? I think it was 9 seasons. We're like halfway through. So, season 5, there's a lot of exciting things to talk about in our community, and that's what our home of Mayor Sendzik is all about. It's putting a spotlight on the amazing things that are happening in St. Catharines and also the people behind it. And so for the past 5 years, we've looked at businesses, we've looked at festivals and events, we've looked at community organizations that are really invested in St. Catharines. And it's really what makes a community special. And St. Catharines is an amazing city in the heart of Niagara. We're heading into the fall. It's my favorite time of year. And it is my favorite time of year because the kids go back to school, but also the leaves start to change and the bounty of the harvest. And the harvest is going to be a focus for today's show. We are going to be talking to one of the directors of the Grape and Wine Festival here in St. Catharines, 68 years. Just imagine that, folks. So many memories for so many people in our community. 68 years of the Grape and Wine Festival. So we're going to be talking about that as well. We're bringing on a very special guest as an organization in St. Catharines that has had an impact on families for over 100 years. Community Care. So Betty-Lou Souter will be coming up after the break. But first we have Korey Rorison joining us. He is the Business Development Manager for the Niagara Grape and Wine Festival, a lifelong resident of Niagara who has spent his career in hospitality. And it's interesting because Korey is a member of Le Clé d'Or Canada and is also known as the Hotel Concierge Society of Canada, and over 15 years of hospitality experience in the hotel industry. You've taught at Niagara College, and it's really an important part of what Niagara is known for is its hospitality, its culinary, its grape and wine, and really now he's taking all of that knowledge and he's putting it into the Grape and Wine Festival. He was also the 75th president of the St. Catharines JCs. Now the JCs, young professional organization here in St. Catharines, and what they're about is giving young professionals, young people in their 20s and 30s an opportunity to experience leadership, to learn what leadership looks like, getting involved in a community. Korey was the 75th president, and he was also a recipient of the Top 40 Under 40 by Business Link. So that was a long introduction for someone who has had a wonderful career so far in Niagara. Korey, welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thank you for your kindness.
It's first time on the show, right?
It is.
Yeah, first time. We'll have you back if you're good.
Okay.
So we want to talk about the Grape and Wine Festival.
For sure.
And so what does it mean to St. Catharines, Niagara? And from your perspective, what does the festival mean to our community?
Oh, it's huge. I mean, I've been a resident here for over 40 years, and it's always been a part of my life. And even as a child, I think the community kind of thinks of it as homecoming for, the university and the colleges, but also just everyone in the community comes together for this. And it's been a long tradition, 68 years, and we're proud to be a part of it. So,
the strength of the festival is the strength of the industry. We have the largest grape and wine industry in Canada located right here in Niagara. The economic driver as an industry continues to grow, over 120 plus wineries here in Niagara. The grape growers who are producing the product, tending to the fields, making sure that we're protecting our agricultural land. And it is really a family experience. So talk a bit about the family side of the Grape and Wine Festival, because a lot of people look at it and go, it's a wine event.
Okay.
What makes it a grape and wine event?
Well, I mean, we have a lot of new things coming this year, but the community part is the parade. It's always a great time with families come out and watch the Meridian Grand Parade. We have an all-new redeveloped family zone in the park, where there's all kinds of programming for the kids there, and that's sponsored by Tim Hortons. So,
oh, nice.
Yeah, so it's going to be a really big. I think it's going to have a big impact this year. We really look to develop it for the families. So we've developed it so that it's free programming. We'll have a Tim Hortons coffee truck there through the whole festival, offering complimentary coffee and beverages for the families. We've got different community programs involved, like Sky Zone and Gymnastics Energy, the carousel players. They're all going to be there, and we developed programming that would change every day on the weekends, so that you bring your families to the park, and there's something new and exciting for the kids to do every day. So
Pied Piper's still in there?
Pied Piper, very much.
That's a favorite for a lot of young folks.
Absolutely.
I remember Pied Piper Parade when I was a kid.
Yep.
That's how far back it goes.
Yeah, absolutely.
And dress up in a different theme every year.
Yep.
And it's interesting because it's really connecting youth with the grape and wine side of the industry. And I say this because when you go to Europe and you look at the European culture and it's how it embraces wine, it is a family experience, meaning that it's something that the kids begin to understand at a young age, how the grapes are turned into a great glass of wine, and then how it's part of a lifestyle. And I really see that happening in Niagara over the past, say, 15, 20 years, where wine on the table, it's there for dinner, it's part of that experience.
For sure.
And it's a part of our DNA. And so I love the fact that you're bringing that family part back into the Grape and Wine Festival so that kids at a younger age gain a better appreciation for the agriculture behind the grape, but at the same time understand that the grape and wine is a part of our life. It's a part of who we are.
Very much, yeah.
And then in terms of the expansion of the festival, the Montebello Park, tell us about the park and what we can expect this year.
Yeah, I think the biggest notable change will be the layout.
Okay.
So we looked at it last year, and Montebello Park's a beautiful park, and we felt that certain aspects of it were underutilized. There's a long sort of a pathway with the beautiful trees that lined it, and in years past it was sort of back of house area for operations. So we've opened that up this year, and we're going to illuminate the trees and really highlight the beauty of it, and that'll give the community more of a experience, so to speak, with decor, and they'll be able to explore that area of the park because it's so gorgeous. And that will lead them into an area that we're developed this year. That's the Wine Life exhibit. So with a Celebrate Ontario grant, we were able to put together what we call an Instagrammable area, where we're going to highlight wine life in the Niagara region. So it'll give the consumers the opportunity to experience what it's like to ride a tractor in a field, in a vineyard.
So it's all virtual reality?
Virtual reality,
okay.
yeah.
Okay.
And we have a different area that explores the wine sensories. So we worked with a local artist to paint this one pod, the colors of all the wines that we are famous for in the Niagara region, and we're going to have sensory experiences where you'll be able to sell or break down the scents of each of the different wines. Yeah. So it's edutainment.
Right.
As our
bringing
chair.
Technology into the festival and giving people an experience there that they may not be able to get going out to the vineyard. I love that because I think Brock University is doing a lot of that work.
Yep.
And so bringing Brock into the park and that research, and Niagara College is another one that
definitely.
You look at our education institutions. Niagara College and Brock University both have strong programming around wine production, grape production, and that plays an important role in making sure that the next generation of employees and entrepreneurs have an appreciation for what we do here. So one of the big things for the park is music. And what can we expect? Because we all love our music to go with our wine. What do we expect in the park?
Well, we have certainly there's certain bands that are community favorites, and they will be back again this year. So the opening night on the 20th of September, we have a band called Dwayne Gretzky, and they're a very popular band in Toronto.
They're awesome.
Yes. Yeah, they opened for the Rolling Stones. They're going to come and help us launch the RBC opening night, and it's going to be a lot of fun.
That is, so my experience with Dwayne Gretzky, I was in New York City, and Dwayne Gretzky played at an event that I was at, good Toronto band, and I got to tell you, they are going to rock the park. That's a great pickup. Well done.
Yes, yes. And then the first Saturday nights, our headliner, we're bringing in a band called 5 Alarm Funk. Okay. We're flying them in from Vancouver, and they're really going to get everyone up and dancing. It's kind of a combination of pop and funk and sort of a Red Hot Chili Peppers type of, just energy. Yeah. So it's really going to be a great lineup. And of course, the second Friday we have our crowd favorite of the Caverners.
I heard the Caverners are back, which is fantastic.
Are back, absolutely.
Yeah. So Beatles cover band.
Yeah, and then we have crowd favorites, of course, Jonesy,
Oh, yeah.
Vinyl Flux and things. So our entertainment lineup's really, really solid.
So you got great entertainment. You've got the RBC Awards, which take place on the Friday night of the first weekend, I believe.
That's correct.
You've got the Grape Stomp.
Yeah.
And the JCs, as your history, we got about a minute and a half.
Okay.
Grape Stomp, JCs. There is a mayor who's 3-time reigning champ. Won't say who it is.
Yes.
But this year, Jim Diodati is going to be in the barrel stomping.
That's
and
great.
He's going to be stomping for Stomp Out Cancer. As
amazing.
a cancer survivor, he's going to be in. So what I'm hoping for, and that is, I believe, on the first Saturday.
Correct, the 21st.
The 21st starts at around noon.
Yes.
And if anyone can come out, please come out and support that, because there's a number of mayors from across Niagara that are going to help Jim and all the funds raised, and I'm going to be the MC.
Awesome.
So I've hung up my grape stomping shoes, feet, whatever they call it, and I'm just going to be holding the mic for the day. But that all goes into what makes the Grape and Wine a very special event.
For sure.
So you need good weather. We've got the great wine. We've got an amazing park. As we head off into the break, how can people find out about what's going on at the Grape and Wine Festival?
Certainly. I mean, the easiest thing is to just go to our website, niagarawinefestival.com. We have our park guides, which will be on location in the park if you come. Also at all of our participating winery partners, they're there, as well as local LCBOs and tourism outlets like the information centers.
So I'm going to say this. The Grape and Wine Festival is that part of the year where everybody looks forward to it. It's who we are. You're right, Korey, it's a homecoming. They've got discovery passes that take place over the 3 weekends of the festival. So come out, bring your family, bring your entire family, because there's obviously things to do for everyone in the park and throughout our community and at the winery. So it's a great time of year to be in Niagara. It's a part of who we are. So Korey, thank you for being on the show.
My pleasure.
Best of luck for the festival. And when we come back, we're going to have Betty-Lou Souter talking about community care here in St. Catharines for the past 100 years. Stay tuned. And welcome back to our home with Mayor Sendzik. We were just talking about the Grape and Wine Festival, what it means to our community. 68 years in St. Catharines, and I'm sure our next guest has participated in a number of the Grape and Wine events, because Community Care is a great partner of the Grape and Wine. One of the aspects of it is fill the bus on the Grape and Wine Grape Parade route.
It certainly is, Walter, and I'm proud to say that I've been involved for 25 of those.
25 of those.
Oh, 68 years, yes. So.
What's wonderful about that, I'm going to introduce Betty-Lou in a few minutes, but what's wonderful about that parade is seeing how the community comes out, and then when they see that bus coming by and how many people bring that brown bag that's delivered to their homes with food for our community.
And it's really wonderful because over the years we've begun to partner with the firefighters, and the firefighters have a group, a contingent, and everybody loves a firefighter with their boots.
Yeah.
And for people who have forgotten their brown bags or chose not to bring them because they have lots of other things to the parade, the firemen handle the cash donations aspect of it, and they say, give hunger the boot. And so they're always there, and it's always kind of fun to see the little kids in awe of the firefighters. So, but it's so true. It's a community coming together and everybody being there and seeing the anticipation on the kids' faces. And, you know, it's just a very special time, and it gives you such great pride to be a part of it. And having been a part of it for 25 years, to watch it grow, it's absolutely tremendous.
Well, Betty-Lou, you've been a part of the Community Care St. Catharines and Thorold, and you've got 40 years of experience in the volunteer sector as well as on several boards. And I know you're very humble, but I want to say that many awards include the Rotary Paul Harris Fellowship, the highest award that could be bestowed by Rotary, the Queen's Jubilee, Golden Jubilee, and Diamond Jubilee medals, the Power of Humanity Award, Business Volunteer Person of the Year, the Ontario Medal for Good Citizenship, and an honorary Doctorate of Laws degree from Brock University. And that speaks to your impact in community, because these awards aren't given out because someone has cut a big check or has done something once or twice in their life. This is about someone who has given back so much, and a lot of us know how much you've put into the community, but community care is at the heart of what you do.
Well, community care has certainly been the driver for most of it, and it's interesting because over the years you have developed some tremendous partnerships and relationships with people, and it all stems because you want to make a difference in your community. And I think that was a value that was taught to me as a young girl. And when I moved here, I didn't know anybody. I moved from Montreal in 1977, and I didn't know anybody, and I became very involved, but I was all gravitated back to giving back through community care. And yeah, I'm really proud that I've had that opportunity, and most nights I can go to bed with my head, put my head on the pillow and say I made a difference in somebody's life. And not a lot of people have that opportunity to be able to have an impact on as many people, I think, over the years I've seen. And what's really nice, Walter, is when people come up to you and say, I had a young girl come up to me last night, and she said to me, if it wasn't for you, I wouldn't have been able to go back to school. I wouldn't have had a career. I'm working as a fashion consultant now in Toronto. You supported me when I didn't have any hope, and my child and I have a life now, and I was able to pursue my career. And sometimes giving people hope is all you need to do, because they're at a point and they don't know where to go, and they don't know what's going to get them there, and they consider themselves a failure. And we all know that everybody needs a boost, and everybody has a bad time in their life. And yeah, it's really nice.
When you look at the word hope and you look at community care, 100 years of giving hope to people.
Absolutely, and it's a century. I think when you think of a century, it's a long time, because when I was in school, a century's like, wow, what was a century? However, we've had the privilege of living in 2 centuries now, so that a century of giving, I think, is so important. And I think that when we started talking about our 100th anniversary, we thought, instead of saying, oh my God, we're still here, why don't we recognize and acknowledge and celebrate the people who have helped us on our journey? And there's many things that have been happening over the course of the year, and will go on. And but it's recognizing, acknowledging, and celebrating those people, and having people come back to you, like this young woman came back to me last night, and another person stopped me at the Penn Center the other day and said, wasn't for you. I said, no, it's not me, it's community care. And it's not just community care, it's a community coming together, as you say. So,
well, the interesting thing is community care was started just after the Great War.
Absolutely.
And it was started because veterans were coming back, and for whatever trauma they experienced, whatever thing happened to them, there was an increase in alcoholism, there was an increase in veteran poverty, and the community care model.
That's how it started.
Soups and meals and blanket.
Mrs. Taylor, that's what she did. She made a pot of a soup on her stove, and she took it over in a horse-drawn cart to the returning soldiers in Western Hill. And at that point, I think they called them shell shock. Yeah. Wow. And now they call them post-traumatic stress. Yeah. So, we have no idea what they go through. All you have to do is look at the movies on Vimy Ridge and the celebrations this year to see from the Great Wars, and to see them getting off the boats and walking through the water and knowing that the person either them or beside them isn't going to survive. You can understand why they have these problems, but to be able to support them on their way to wellness, and unfortunately for some, it's a long, tough journey.
Well, I think what the public needs to understand, and what community care has done, is whether that trauma came out of the Great War or World War II or other battles that soldiers went through, there was also trauma happening in our community, whether
Absolutely.
it was violence at a young age, sexual assault at a young age, or whether it was families that were impacted by alcohol or drugs. And these traumas present themselves through addictions, through poverty, through homelessness, through mental health. And community care is that backbone, the place where someone can go for help, for guidance, for...
Well, for hope, for guidance. And we have, I think we put parameters around people, because everybody needs rules and regulations. And when people come in, they always say to me, well, thank you, or say to the staff, well, thank you for making me be accountable, because everybody has to be accountable. We recognize that when they enter, that is not high on their list of having the ability to do, but I think it's really important to put structure around people and to support them. And you're so true. When we look at, if you go back and you look and you start peeling the layer of the onion, what causes some of the people to be in the problems they're in right now? We know we're at a critical time throughout everywhere, throughout the world right now, and there's more and more research that's saying everything is related to stress. I mean, something catastrophic has happened somewhere along the line. There's been some trauma, and as you've identified, and that's what gets people sometimes down this path, and it's really hard to pull them back, but you have to be there. And we can't do it alone. No. We need the support of the community. I know we work with you and your committees and all the other organizations, and I'm really proud to say that we work with similar organizations throughout Niagara. We have consortiums that help people with accessing dental care, accessing housing supports. So we work together as a consortium, and so it's not just in St. Catharines, but it's throughout Niagara. And it's not about us, it's about the people you serve. And so if you focus on the people you serve, recognizing that they go from one community to the next, to the next, to the next. And so we work with the other organizations to make sure that we do our very best, and that's all we can do is our very best.
So some people say, because you do the Great Holiday Food Drive, you do Fill the Bus through the Grape and Wine Parade. Some people think of community care, you're a food bank. So just give the viewers a synopsis of, we also provide, because I think you touched on the dental program, but I think it's important to show what else you do.
Well, we do 21 programs and supports to help people get to the next level. Right. There's a dental program. Right now, we're right in the thick of our utility assistance program. We help people with money management. We have a clothing program. We have a back to school and that was really successful. And this year it was the largest number that we've ever had, and we're very thankful to Canadian Tire Jumpstart. Once again, it's a community partner. We were approached by some wonderful people from the Kitchen Studio. They're a relatively new business in town, and they're having a raffle for us for a kitchen valued at $25,000, and that's on October the 24th, which is kind of exciting. And for $25 ticket, you can win a new kitchen, so which is pretty special. So everybody wants to help. Some people just need a little direction and guidance how to help, but it's providing the housing supports, access to shelter. We don't have a shelter, but we have access to shelter. We, as I said, look after the youth. We have a lot of really troubled youth who are struggling. Of course, our food security program is huge. We manage Niagara Nutrition Partners, so they're a division of community care. We also are managing the Rent Smart program, which is trying to help people and landlords have an understanding of what they need to do with their tenants and what are the tenants' privileges. So it's anything to do with that's going to get you to the next level. And it keeps us hopping, and there's no questions about it. And we've had some wonderful partnerships with the community that just sort of augment what we do, and one thing leads to another.
So you do, it's the 100th year, and what I love is that you're also shining a light on the 100 years of community care, because I think that's important, as you talked about. You're standing on the shoulders of those who have come before you and provided assistance, but it's also the businesses that have consistently and continue to give. You've got the Great Holiday Food Drive, which takes place in December, and that's in the downtown area. It's huge, so information on that, you can find out, folks, on their website. They'll have information as it comes up, but you have a special event in October, which I think I want people to come out, because tell us a bit about it before we wrap it up.
That's our open house. Our open house is on October the 9th, and people are welcome to drop by anytime after 1 o'clock. We're having an official ceremony. We are installing 3 flagpoles that were donated to us by somebody that wanted to give us the opportunity to fly our flag high. And so we're optimistic that we're going to have somebody from the Legion come and help us raise the Canadian flag, and because of our connection with the Legion and the soldiers, the United Way has been a strong supporter. They're going to be another person that's going to raise a flag that day with us, and the other one will be Community Care. And I'm telling you that extra flagpole is available to anybody that wants to fly it at a like Pride Week and things like that. So it's just to sort of show that Community Care is an inclusive organization and recognizes the diversity of the community. So if anybody wants to fly a flag, we're more than happy to fly a flag for you.
That's amazing. So for 100 years, you've flown the flag of community and what community means and how we help the most vulnerable in our community, because we're only as strong as our weakest link, as they say.
Absolutely.
And I got to say, over 100 years, Community Care has really lifted people up. So Thank you, Betty-Lou, for your work, your employees, the volunteers, and everyone else that continues to donate and give their time to community care, because without all of that, we wouldn't be where we are as a community today, which is, I believe, a very strong, compassionate, caring community, and it's because of 100 years of organizations like yours that have set the mark for us.
Well, thank you, and I must give credit where credit is due, because when the political will is there, it makes all the difference in the world, and I think we're very blessed that we have a very strong political will to make a difference in St. Catharines,
Hear, hear.
which permeates through Niagara, and once that happens, good things happen.
Good things happen. So thank you very much for joining our first episode back, season 5, and what a episode it was. We talked about the Grape and Wine Festival, 68 years here in St. Catharines. I look forward to seeing you on the Grand Parade. Shout out if you see me, I'll give you a wave, as well as 100 years of community service, community care in our community. Betty-Lou Souter, you've done a wonderful job. We have amazing things here in St. Catharines, and it's all because of the people that go into the organizations and the events that takes us to where we are today. So hope you have a great September. It's an amazing time to be in St. Catharines. Enjoy all the bounty that surrounds us. And until next time, take care.